Would help if I moved the microphone to its rightful place. Hello, and hello. Let's start that again. It's been one of those days already. Hello, how is everyone tonight? I hope you've been frightfully delightful. Me, I've been pretty okay. Just kind of hanging in there, trying to get through the day, ready to rate the cryptids that were submitted by the community. Really looking forward to today's stream. So today, we're going to be doing a few things. The first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at a tier list of 17 submitted cryptid creatures by the community through Twitter. And we're going to rate them based on could they be real or are they absolute fiction. Then we're also going to read their wiki entries as we rate them to see the legend behind the creatures, and they'll also give us a little bit of probability of if they were possibly inspired by something that was real or complete work of the imagination. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Afterwards, if we have time, I may play some Identity 5 for a few matches, and then, once the stream ends, I'm going to send you all to bed with a creepypasta bedtime story. I hope that sounds wonderful to everyone else. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to give it a few moments. So how is everyone today? Lord Nix, Lupine, how was your days? Have you done anything fantastic or really cool that you'd like to tell me about? Because I'd love to hear about your day. I just kind of relaxed today. I didn't do too much. Just kind of let my mind rest. It's been a very long month, so I kind of needed it. Oh no. Oh. I hope it wasn't rusty, Lupine, because just be very careful about that. I know that can be very bad. You can end up with tetanus, and I would hate for that to happen. Okay, good. But just be careful. Ooh, Nerf ammo. Is it the darts or the balls? Because I know they have the guns that shoot the little balls now, which are pretty great, and they have the darts, of course. Then is it the thick darts or the thin darts, the suction cups? There's so many different darts right now for Nerf, it's crazy. Rival, so the balls, nice. Yeah, the rival guns are pretty nice. I like those. They have really nice distance to them. My favorite gun, though, was, I forget what series it was, but they had the thicker darts, so they were bigger. I had one that was like a Gatling gun, but it was a pistol. That was pretty great. I like that one. And the other one I really liked is, if you remember the Zombie Force ones from a few years ago, they had one that was like had a flintlock on it. It was like Hellboy's gun. That one was really, really cool too. I really liked that one a lot. Yeah, the Mega Series, that's what it was. Yeah, I had one that was like Zombie Strike. Yeah, Zombie Strike didn't last long. Zombie Strike was about 2014, 2015, I think is when that one came out. They were all like, it was weird. They had like tape around, like fake tape around the handles, and there was like an axe and a bunch of other things. If you look them up, you can probably find them still on Amazon, but they're probably expensive. But they had one that had a hammer lock, so it was like Hellboy's gun from Hellboy, but you could hammer lock it and shoot the darts. It had the smaller, thin green darts for that one. They were all green for theirs. It was a neat series. They had a pump action shotgun, the hammerlock pistol. They had the axe. I think they had a new version of the bow and arrow. There was a crossbow. There was a really cool crossbow in that series. It pretty much came out during the height of popularity of the Walking Dead show. Darts can always be purchased for pennies, but the weapons themselves, I think, are what are going to be expensive. I will be so glad to get rid of this V-Roid model with all of his janky glitching. My model's coming along nicely, though. Limmy was working on it today, and it looks so good. I can't wait for her to get done with it. I'm super happy. I think you're all gonna like seeing that version of her as well. Hey Zombro! Oh, you're adding more to the Alone in the Dark challenge. Oh. You all want to torture me with that, don't you? Yeah, I am mean to this model. I'm sorry. I can't wait for my 3D one. I'm so happy with it. Oh, those are nice. I have a friend with one of those. No, she can't. I don't have I don't have any of the hand motion tracking, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Pixelated Elephant. It's a little bit outside of the budget for the moment, and I'm going to be switching over to 2D rather soon. I just use this as a placeholder until my 2D model is finished, which I drew myself, but I have a friend rigging it for me. It is, and it's kind of neat the way it the way it happened. So I'm not completely complaining about it, but you've seen my 2D models on, bro. You know how much cooler it is in this one. It's awesome. I was watching, Limmy did a little stream today, and she mentioned she's going to be doing you a 2D model too. I cannot wait to see that, Zombro. I'm super excited. Hi, Time. Welcome. You did make it. We're talking for a little bit first, and then we'll get into the ratings. Yeah, every time I make a new doll, the collection will increase. So, you're just going to see that grow over time. Eventually, Sophie's going to move off the couch and probably going to move closer to the screen. Just so I have room for more dolls up there on the couch. There's actually a chair behind me. I'm going to have to move that around on here so the chair can be seen, so I can put more dollies there. Let me show you. Let me hide myself for a minute here. Okay, where am I? Bam. See, there's a chair behind me. So I might move that chair and move that over closer to the chat window so that you can see me, so I can put more dollies on the chair. Boom. Oh, very cool. That's awesome. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that, though. I'm looking forward to seeing 2D Zombro. I think that would be really cool. Haha, the photo. That's not a photo frame. That's actually supposed to be a mirror. That's a mirror that, because my mirrors I can look out of to see the world. That is just a random stock photo of a family that I distorted so you can't see their faces. And it was supposed to be like one of the mirrors I was looking out of. I was gonna do that to the other mirror, the circle mirror behind me, but I got a little bit lazy. I have to do that at some point. This background's gonna be continually updated as I get more ideas and get more motivation to update it more. Eventually there'll be more furniture added, more things in the background hanging on the walls, so on and so forth. You'll see my Shadow Realm slowly come to life. Yeah, it took me about 4 or 5 days till they finally updated it. So, oh, an evil laugh. Well, luckily for you, I can go all out with this. I hope you enjoyed your evil laugh. Any reflective object. I can look out of the reflection of blood, the reflection of water, the reflection of metal, the reflection of sunglasses. If it reflects, I can see out of it and be summoned from it. Although, I won't lie, it's a bit painful coming out of smaller objects, but I reform. It just makes me a little more grumpier when I come to collect what I've been promised by being summoned. If a nickel is shiny enough to have a full reflection, then yes. It's happened. It was not fun. I mean, I can see out of it at any time. Like, it's got a full reflection. But I've been summoned out of a shiny coin. I don't recommend it. Mind you, I was not too kind to the person that summoned me out of there. Usually I'm much more efficient. I take what I need and I go back to add to my collection. But the smaller the thing you summon me from, the more it hurts, and the more I'm going to dismember every piece of you into, there's nothing but puddle and paste. That person was unrecognizable by any means that summoned me from that coin. I don't recommend it. Yeah. About them. They can't contain what they can't capture. There's always a reflection. You can't stop me. There's no such thing as a room with no reflection. You have to turn off all the lights in complete darkness. And then I can just slip away into the shadows, back to my realm. You may not be able to summon me from the shadows, but I can leave through them. Yes. Yeah, well, you won't defeat me, but I can retreat back to my realm, and you just won't be able to resummon me. So I guess, in a way, you've defeated me. I'll still be here waiting, and eventually someone will light a match. And then I will see again. It's only a matter of time till someone figures out how to bring me back. And I've got all the time in the world. But I've decided I'm going to tell you a little bit about my origin. You see, I was born in West Philadelphia. Born and raised there. And then we had playgrounds where I spent most of my days. Relaxing and chilling and maxing all cool. I couldn't keep going, I'm sorry. I was gonna do the whole Fresh Prince thing. Unfortunately, I couldn't stop myself from laughing at my own joke. I'm sorry. That was mean. There will be lore. I'm working on that. I want to do something proper. And people such as Cabal and Kimrai and people like that have inspired me with either their intro videos or lore videos. That I want to do something a little bit more top tier than just me explaining over Twitch what my lore is. So that's being worked on. Oh, it's coming. It's coming, I promise. And it will be fantastic. I've given this a lot of thought, and I have a lot of details in it. And I'm just hoping that I can do it justice, either with a motion-style comic video, or even if it's just like a frame show, I would like to at least have images changing and fading in and out as the story progresses. So either way, there will be a lore video, and it will be at least nice, if not better. It depends if I do it myself or if I hire someone, really. And hiring someone requires funds that I have to get fixed up. So, yeah, it should be really cool. I am excited. And I'm glad you all are, too. Oh no, we got some cool things coming. You're going to see more and more stuff happen as we get to the 2D model time. I'm working on more emotes for when we get more emote slots. I'm working on the alerts being more customized than what we have right now. So a lot of things will be changing over the next month or two. I am working on things slowly. When you're a one-woman band doing everything yourself, it does take a little bit more time, especially when you do have to work, versus people who have the money to pay for people to do it. And I would love to do that, but it is what it is, and I'm working on it as I go. Alright, Lord Nix. Working is always cool. We'll be going over to the tier list in a few moments. Okay. Well, I think we've given it enough time. So let's go ahead and switch on over to the tier list. Let me switch this over. Bam. Alright. We have our tier list. And the music should pick up soon. I've got a creepy music playlist in the background. If it needs to be raised up, give it a few minutes to kick in. If it needs to be a little bit louder. A tier list. I've got everyone's contribution. So there's 17 creatures in all we're going to be going through. Let me get up another window here so that I can open. Let me open up another window. Let's pull this off and pull this over to here. And I will read the wiki entries for all of these creatures. All right, so we're going to start off with the first entry on the list, which was from Faceless Jack, who's not here right now. But Faceless Jack submitted Hachi Shikahu-sama. I butchered that name, but I'm sure there'll be a pronunciation once I get to the wiki. You want to see my search history? I can show you my search history. Alright, history. Let me open up a new tab. History. Do you see it? Twitter, create a tier list, Twitter. Searching for the images for the tier list. And not a whole lot of exciting stuff on this one. Now, my Google Chrome. My Google Chrome's history I will not be sharing. And yes, that is going to be one of the ones on here. Someone did select that. Alright, so the first thing that we're doing is Hachi Shakusama. Let's load up the wiki page here. Alright. And let's go and read this. Okay. Hachi Shaku-sama, also known as the 8 feet tall woman, is a type of Japanese spirit that takes the form of an impossibly tall female specter, often said to have deep masculine voice in which she repeats the interjections po repeatedly, and a habit of prey on children, usually ones that are 9 to 11 years old. Hachi Shakusama often appears as an 8 foot tall woman with black hair. She wears a white hat and a white dress with no shoes. Her personality, to catch her victims, she stalks the children for some days, maybe months too. Then when she stops, she takes the child and takes him or her away from the family, then kills them. The biography of this creature, the 8 foot tall woman, vary from white withered hag to an attractive woman, yet is always inhuman in terms of height. While her appearance varies between accounts, most eyewitnesses have stated that she's dressed in a white summer dress and a wide brim hat. 8 foot tall, then attacks children and does not bother with adult prey. This is said to be due to the fact that children are still dependent on older family members, which 8 foot tall can mimic in order to lure her victims away. 8 feet tall appears to be very similar to numerous other Japanese demons. In fact, she usually is seen dressed in white with long black hair and is always female. This may have something to do with ancient Japanese folklore having female ghosts that often sought revenge on the living and grew malicious after death. With this same legend inspired fictional monsters of Sadako Yamamura, Samara Morgan, Alicia Dimitru, and Kayako Saki. So, hey Venus, welcome so much. Great, I'm glad you're here to work. I'm really excited to watch you work. Ashaka-sama? That might be right. I'm terrible with pronouncing Japanese names, Lord Nix. I think you may be right. So, let me pull up a, let me see here. And let's go to the list. So this would be her. Oh, she's cut off a little bit. Let me get you a picture of her. Let me take a thing from the list here. Okay. And actually, okay, let me go into here, make a new window real quick, so you all can see a picture of her. Images. Okay. That's her right there. That's an artist rendering of her. Now we've seen her, we've read her myth. Now, where does she fall on our chart between 100% real and fantasy as fuck? I would say that the myth of this woman is probably based on someone real, someone who actually did prey on children at some time in history. So I'm going to say that this creature is possible. Maybe not in the purest form of the legend, but in some way, shape, or form, she was inspired by something that was real, that actually existed, and did the things that this creature was reported to do. I do think accounts of very tall people in other cultures do happen from time to time. That mutation does happen, even in Japan or China or other Asian countries. So I think that this could have been based on someone who was real, who was outlandishly tall, and unfortunately probably wasn't in their right mind and did horrible things. And I think that the whole basis of her and her legend probably came from that. So I'm going to put her in the possible, just because it seems like this could be something based on a truth that was distorted into a fiction. Yes, she was she was part of the inspiration for that. All right. So that's the first entry. Our next entry on the list is the Mothman, submitted by Ramiro Incubus. Let me pull up his wiki entry. Boom. The Mothman. All right. I actually don't live too far away from the Mothman where he inhabits. So the Mothman. In Western Virginia folklore, the Mothman is a humanoid creature reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area from November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967. The first newspaper report was published in the Point Pleasant Register, dated November 16th, 1966, titled Couples See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something. The national press soon picked up on the reports and helped spread the story across the United States. The Mothman was introduced to a wider audience by Gary Barker in 1970 and was later popularized, that word does not want to come off my tongue today, by John Keel in his 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, claiming that there were supernatural events related to the sightings and a connection into the collapse of the Silver Bridge. The book was later adapted into a 2002 film starring Richard Gere. An annual festival in Point Pleasant is devoted to the Mothman legend. The history. On November 15th, 1966. It's a good movie. I actually really enjoyed it. On November 15th, 1966, two young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, told police they saw a large gray creature whose eyes glowed red when the car's headlights picked it up. They described it as a large, flying man with 10-foot wings. Following their car while they were driving in the area outside of town known as the TNT area, the site of a former World War II munitions plant. During the next few days, other people reported similar sightings. Two volunteer firemen who saw it said it was a large bird with red eyes. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusual large heron he termed a shitepoke. Contractor Noel Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed the flashlight at the creature in a nearby field, the eyes glowed red like bicycle reflectors, and blamed buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. Wildlife biologist Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that the descriptions and sightings all fit the sandhill crane, a large American crane almost as high as a man, with a 7-foot wingspan, featuring circles of reddish coloring around the eyes. The bird may have wandered out of its migration route and therefore was uncategorized at first because it was not native to this region. Due to the popularity of the Batman TV series at the time, the fictional superhero Batman and his rogue galleries were prominently featured in the public eye. While the villain Killer Moth did not appear in the show, the comic book influence of both film of him and Batman is believed by some to have influenced the coinage of the name Mothman in the local newspapers. Following the December 15, 1967 collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 46 people, the incident gave rise to legend and connected the Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse. The Mothman Prophecies 2002 is a major motion picture loosely based on the 1975 book of the same name by John Cale. According to the Georgian newspaper, Vodnya Gruzia, Russian UFOologists claim the Mothman sightings in Moscow foreshadowed the 1999 Russian apartment bombings. In 2016, WCHS-TV published a photo purported to be of Mothman taken by an anonymous man while driving on Route 2 in Mason County, West Virginia. Science writer Sharon A. Hill proposed that the photo showed a bird, perhaps an owl, carrying a frog or snake away, and wrote that there is zero reason to suspect it is the Mothman as described in legend. There are too many far more reasonable explanations. Alright, so let's go to the pictures so I can show you what this creature is purported to look like. These are images of the Mothman. And this is based on eyewitness accounts of the Mothman. So, where does the Mothman stack on our tier list? So the Mothman I've always felt was an interesting one. If you live in the rural areas of the Appalachians, there's a lot of uncharted areas there where things could live that we don't really know about or haven't categorized yet. I mean, we're finding things in forests and mountainous areas all around the world all the time that we didn't know about. Most of them are smaller creatures. Does that mean that a large winged creature couldn't exist somewhere in these mountains? Couldn't exist somewhere in these rural areas? No, it doesn't. Overall, though, I do think this could have been the crane that the one professor said. It could have been something else entirely. Maybe it is the Mothman. Mothman is going to go impossible, if not for the reason that it's in a heavily wooded, mountainous area that this creature is purported to live, and there are possible explanations for him in nature, albeit the birds that were mentioned in the article. So we're going to put Mothman as possible. I don't think that the Mothman itself is entirely fake, but I don't entirely believe it is a Mothman creature. I think it could be a bird, or who knows, it could be some other creature that we've yet found. But I do think that he does stack up into the possible region. Oh, yeah. Well, Mothman is... It's a big thing, especially in the northeastern U.S. In the Pennsylvania, West Virginia area, we know about him very well, especially western Pennsylvania, because we are really close to West Virginia. So yeah, it's a bigger legend over on this part. All right, up next on our list is the Dopar Chew, submitted by Liminisa Evelyn, or our friend Limmy. Hey, Sister Rose, how are you? We're only 2 in so far, so you haven't missed much. So just 2 of 17. We have 15 left. Alright, so the Dopar Chew. Let me get his entry up here. or the Dubar Chu. I'm probably saying it wrong. When I get to the wiki, it'll give me a pronunciation. Some of these creatures have names that my tongue doesn't want to cooperate with just by reading. Okay. Here we go. And the Dubar Chu, or King Otter, is a creature of Irish folklore. It resembles both a dog and an otter, though it sometimes is described as half dog, half fish. It lives in water and has fur with protective properties. Physical description of the resemblances of the otter, but said to be about 5 times as large. With white pelt, black ear tips, and a black cross on its back. The Dobar Chu is an obsolete Irish word for otter. The modern Irish word for water is Uisce. I don't know how to say that. It might be Uisce. Although Dobar is also rarely used, Dopar is much older form and cognates are found in other Celtic language. Coo or Chu is a hound in Irish. Okay, yeah, I'll turn down a little bit. Thank you for letting me know. Let me do that real quick here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, Coo? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm not very good with Celtic words. I do try my best, but I will butcher them, and I do apologize. Yeah, if people know the correct pronunciation, by all means, please tell me. I will try to fix it as much as possible. Yes, it is. Okay, so we were here. The Dabar Q is also known as Dobarku and anglicized as Doyarchu or Duhuragu or Darogao or Anchu. Wow, this thing has many names, doesn't it? The headstone found in Cornwall Cemetery in Glenade County in Leitrim depicts the wow, a lot of words. This one is just definitely not what I was expecting. County in Leitrim depicts the Dabar coup and is related to the tale of an attack on a local woman by the creature. Sure. I should have still here. Yes, I do. That's the creature, and okay. I think we're almost out of this one, so I think we'll be good once we get out of here. Like I said, the Celtic language has always thrown me off. It took me forever to figure out that Siobhan was pronounced Siobhan and not Sioban. So, oh, Dover Q. Okay, Dover Q. Thank you. Okay. An attack on a local woman by the creature. The stone is claimed to be the headstone of a grave of a woman killed by Dovar Chu in the 17th century. The monument is a recumbent flag of sandstone about 4 feet by 6 inches, 4 feet 6 inches by 1 feet 10 inches. It shows a recumbent animal having body and legs like of those of a dog, with the characteristic depth of rib and strength of thigh. The tail, long and curved, shows a definitive tuft. The rear of the haunch and still more the tail are in exceptionally low relief, apparently due to the loss of thin flake from the face of the slab. So far, the description is canine. The lettering and carving in the relief. This wiki entry is not even typed out very well, so this one's a little bit messy. The incident with this creature that brings back a lot of the mythology. was supposedly the woman in the thing was supposedly Grace McLogan. Her husband supposedly heard her scream as she was washing clothes down by the Glenade Low and came to her aid. When he got there, she was already dead, and the Dovar Q upon her bloody, mutilated body. The man killed the Dovar Q and stabbing it in the heart as it died. It made a whistling noise, and its mate arose from the low, and the mate chased the man. But after a long and bloody battle, he killed it as well. So, not much on there for it, but apparently it's supposed to be a dog otter hybrid or a very large otter. Let me pull up a picture of this creature so that you can see what we're dealing with here. Okay. And images. Yeah, so essentially, that's a more demonized version that I use for the thumbnail, but this is a more. So it's supposed to be like a giant otter dog. Here's a more, So let's go to the chart. It is cute. So for the Dovar Q, I'm going to rate this one as very probable. The reason why I'm putting this as very probable is because this could have been a prehistoric otter that somehow survived extinction. What this man saw could have very much been real. It's not outside the realm of possibility. And it is very plausible. So I think this one was probably based in some truth. He probably did encounter a very large otter creature that's had a more elongated features due to evolution. So yeah, we're gonna put this as very probable. This is what this man saw. This creature probably did definitely exist. If it still doesn't, and we just haven't really found it. That's the crazy thing about the water. It hides many secrets, even mammals. All right, our next entry hopefully isn't as much of a struggle as the last one. Is the Boyata. Let's get this pulled up here, which is a serpent creature. And I'm gonna put the image up first for you all. We're gonna do this one a little bit differently. Yeah, this is the fire snake. That's this creature. This is our next entry. It's a very fiery serpent. Let's go read what its description is, and let's see if this could have been based on something real, or if it's complete work of fiction. Okay. Here we go. And Boitata. Boitata is a mythological serpent from Brazilian mythology, legend, and folklore. In particular, accounts of its existence first derive among the natives who revered it as a protector of nature. Boitata appears to be a green and orange, flame or black, huge serpent with flames around his body. It's sometimes described as having 2 horns. Behavior. Boitata maybe is a good entity, but it may kill anything which is violating the forest. Their diet consists of eyes from dead animals or its victims. Boitata can breathe fire, which it is resistant to. Its eyes are stunning and bright. Its stare can be blind. It is also a fairly powerful swimmer and can camouflage by shaping itself to resemble a burning fallen tree. So not a lot in that entry there. Again, I'll go to the renders of it. I'm going to say that the Boitata is sadly unlikely. While I do think the legend was spawned from some creature that was seen or misunderstood, or maybe even a burning serpent that was on fire and dying and was mistaken as something that was not going to be dying soon. I don't think that this creature in particular ever truly existed. I do think that something was seen and misunderstood, and spun off this legend. So I'm gonna put this as sadly unlikely. I don't think this creature ever truly existed. Um, but I do think there was probably some basis for it. Whether it was just a big snake that was mistaken, or exaggerated. Actually, we're gonna put this down as fantasy AF. So I do think this was something that was seen and exaggerated more than anything else. I don't think. Are we calling Lance Archer a cryptid, Sister Rose? You did. I hear he threw them through the ceiling. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the Boy Tata ever truly existed. I think that it was something that was misunderstood. It was another real snake, or something that was seen and wasn't understood. I don't think a fire-breathing horned snake that was on fire truly ever existed. If any, at worst case scenario, is a complete fabrication of the imagination. Best case scenario, someone saw something they didn't understood and embellished upon it. All right, our next entry, it comes from Cod of Wisdom, who is the admin for our Discord server. And if you didn't know, I do have a little Discord group. We are called the Menagerie Manor. We do have a Discord server. It's between myself and 5 other horror VTubers. We do share that, and if you ever want to join, please feel free to join. We have I do exclusive movie screenings in there. We also will do some events in there and some other fun exclusives that you can only find inside the Discord. We'd love to have you there. That said, let's move on to sleep paralysis demons. I'm going to go with the picture first. Sleep paralysis demons. Oh, wrong thing. Okay, let's go over to here. Let's grab this. Okay, so let's go with the images. This is something that's been around. The thought of sleep paralysis demons have been around for a very long time. Throughout history, they are... I'll go over what I believe they are, but they are something that has existed in lore and myth. People have claimed to see them. But let's go over the wiki entry, and we'll go from there. As your roommate. Well, tell your roommate to quit sitting on people's chests and making them wake up in a sweat and not being able to move in the middle of the night. Alright. Let me see here. Okay, so they don't have, here we go. Oh, that's Roblox. That's not even real. Okay, so they don't have a real entry for sleep paralysis demons. However, there is a wiki entry for sleep paralysis. So we're going to talk about this because I'm going to, right now, we'll go over to the entry here. Actually, we're just going to do something a little bit off kilter with this one. Sleep paralysis demons are fantasy. Let me go read the wiki for sleep paralysis. And we'll go over why I'm putting it there. So, sleep paralysis demons are based on pretty much medieval folklore for something that had happened, that people couldn't explain. A lot of times when night terrors and sleep paralysis takes a hold, people who didn't know better or didn't know science would blame it on a demon. Sleep paralysis itself is a state during waking up or falling asleep in which a person is aware but unable to move or speak. During an episode, one may hallucinate, which often results in fear. Episodes generally last less than a couple of minutes. It may occur as a single episode or be recurrent. The condition may occur in those who are otherwise healthy or those who with narcolepsy, or it may run in families as a result of specific genetic changes. The condition can be triggered by sleep deprivation, psychological stress, or abnormal sleep cycles. The underlying mechanism is believed to involve dysfunction in the REM sleep. Sleep paralysis is commonly experienced by lucid dreamers. Some lucid dreamers use this as a method to have a lucid dream. Diagnosis is based on a person's description. Other conditions that can present similarly include narcolepsy, a tonic seizure, or hypolemic periodic paralysis. Music's still a little high? Okay, I'm gonna turn it down some more. There we go. Okay. So, like I said, sleep paralysis demons, they are completely fiction. They were something that people used to describe something that they didn't understand. I think as time went, we started to learn and understand things and started to know, figure out what it was we were actually seeing and hearing, and was experiencing when these episodes happened. So it is something that was used as to explain something that at a time when people didn't have the science to explain it, as something to explain an unknown phenomenon. So sleep paralysis demon, unfortunately, are complete fantasy. That's true. Yeah, that's very true. That's another state there too. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm gonna butcher it. But hypnogeogia or gogia or gogia, hypnogogia, hypnogogia. Okay. Yeah. So right. So yeah. So definitely fantasy. Something that we made in order to explain something we didn't understand. That one was a simple enough one. Up next, we have the Tsuchinoko. Tsuchinoko is another serpent. Let's go to the pictures. Tsuchinoko is this little guy. If you've ever played Final Fantasy XIV, they have a character in there called the Great Serpent of Ronka, who is clearly inspired by this character. He is adorable. Look at him. Look at how thick he is with his little tail. It's an adorable snack. Adorable. Let's go to his wiki entry. Yes, Doomspar Sazral, yes. Tubisnick, yes. Thimk. He's very thimk. Very, very thimk. Okay. The Tsuchinoko, literally translating to child of hammer, is a snake-like being. The name Tsuchinoko is prevalent in western Japan, including Kansai and Shikoku. The creature is known as Bakihibi in northern Japan. Tsuchinoko are described as being between 30 and 80 centimeters to 12 and 31 inches in length, similar in appearance to a snake, but with a central girth that is much wider than its head or tail, and having fangs and venom similar to that of a viper. Some accounts also describe the Tsuchinoko as being able to jump up to 1 meter, 3.3 feet in distance, followed immediately by a second jump while still in the air. According to legend, some Tsuchinoko have the ability to speak, and they are very likely to be liars as well. And they are also said to have taste for alcohol. Legend records that it will sometimes swallow its own tail so that it can roll like a wheel, similarly to the hoop snake of American legend. So that said, what do I think this creature falls under? Oh, hello. Oh, geez, with another hawk. Hold on, I'm going to switch over to Nina's cat for a moment. And then we gotta delete this. ban. Cost 00312 underscore is underscore unstoppable. Boom. Well, Host 0312 is unstoppable. I sure stopped you. Alright, let's get out of emote only chat. He is banned. Boom. Alright, we're back to being able to chat again. Oh, we should be at least. No, I double clicked it. There we go. There you go. Now you all can chat again. You have been. I always do that whenever I see one of these enter in, so they don't have a chance to type anything. Everyone's being hit. Yeah, they're out in force today. I had, before I started stream, I had 3 of them follow me throughout the day, so I had to get rid of all them. Yep. Hey Mer, welcome. Just saw you posting some emotes there. Okay, so now, this snake, this chub snake, thick snake, if you will, the Tsuchinoko, where do I think it exists in the Wheel of Probability? I think, outside of it being able to talk, I think it's actually very probable that this might have been a creature at one time that existed and is no longer around. Hey Ramont, how are you doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining us. And how have you been, Mare? Have you been good? Yeah. The Tsuchinoko, I'm putting it in the realm of very probable. While I don't think it exists anymore, I think it was a creature that existed at one time and may be extinct. So we're not gonna... So we're gonna put it there. I'm doing very well, thank you so much for asking. Oh, that's okay, Mar. I always appreciate when anyone's here, whether they're here to lurk or talk or anything like that. So I just appreciate that you chose to have me on in the background while you do other things. Also, I'm glad you're doing good, Ramont. I'm doing well. This has been a long week. Oh, I will hydrate. Thank you, Lord Nix. Yeah. Alright. So we were 6 down, and we've got 11 more to go. Our next submission is The Beast of Brave Road by Kai Divi. The Beast of Brave Road. Let's pull up an image of this creature. Images. Okay. I'm guessing this is supposed to be the image of the Beast of Bray Road. And here's some more horror movie images of it. But I guess this is the actual image of what it's supposed to be that was there. So that said, we see what the image that was captured. Let's go read what the Wikipedia says about its legend. And we'll go from there. The Beast of Bray Road, also known as the Bray Road Beast and the Wisconsin Werewolf, is a purported humanoid wolf-like creature allegedly witnessed in or near the rural county of Elkhorn. Walworth County, Wisconsin. It has since become part of Wisconsin folklore and has been subject to multiple books, documentaries, and a 2005 horror film. Named for the farm road in which it was first allegedly sighted, Bray Road, reports of the creature in the 1980s and 1990s prompted a local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, to assign reporter Linda Godfrey to cover the story. Godfrey was initially skeptical, but later became convinced of the sincerity of the witnesses. Her series of articles later became a book titled The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf. Reports of a similar creature in the neighboring state of Michigan also tell of an alleged wolf-like humanoid in the Michigan Dogman. The Beast of Bray Road is most often described by alleged witnesses as large, between 6 feet, 2 meters, or 7 feet, 2 meters tall, with a humanoid-style body covered in fur or hair, and with a head resembling a wolf or bear. It is reported to have been seen moving as both quadruped and biped. Some reports describe it more closely to resembling a traditional werewolf or Bigfoot. The creature was allegedly first sighted in 1936. In the 1980s, several alleged witnesses reported the beast had made contact with their vehicles, leaving long scratch marks on the door and on trunks of vehicles. One witness hitting something crossing Bray Road, then exited their vehicle to determine what they had hit, and reported the large wolf-like creature with red eyes chased her back into her car and left claw marks in the rear passenger door. Sightings also have been reported during daylight hours, and several witnesses stating they observed an unusually large wolf-like creature running on all fours through cornfields. One witness stated they observed the creature in pursuit of deer. Animal mutilations have also been reported in the area around Bray Road, with animal remains, including deer, livestock, partially eaten with specific organs removed from the animal carcasses. Another witness reported driving down Bray Road late one night and observed an unusually large wolf-like creature eating an animal, which had been hit by a car on the side of the road. The creature reportedly ran into the woods as the eyewitness approached in their vehicle. Reported sightings continue most recently as February 2018 and July of 2020, when alleged witness observed a large hair-covered upright creature in Spring Prairie and Lyons, both in Walworth County. Investigation. A number of misidentified animal-based theories have been proposed, including the creature is simply a gray wolf, or a large dog such as a Great Pyrenees or a Newfoundland. While not common in the southern part of the state, wolves are occasionally found in Walworth County and nearby areas. It is also possible that hoaxes and mass hysteria have caused some falsehoods and sightings of normal creatures to all be artificially lumped under the same label. Others have theorized the creature may be a bear suffering from mange. Like wolves, American black bears have been sighted in Walworth County. So what do we think? Do we think this one is an actual wolf-like creature? Is it a wolf being misidentified? Or is it simply a black bear with mange? Now, seeing the images that we've seen of the purported creature, let me show you what a bear with mange looks like. So put that up on its hind legs and have that walking towards someone. It doesn't look too different from the image that we see here. This is a little bit hairier, but you can definitely see the portions of the body where the hair is not present. And the ears aren't really quite dog-like. They are more round like a bear. So, if I had to rate the Beast of Bray Road, I would say the Beast of Bray Road is a very real creature. However, I don't think it's a werewolf. I do think that it is possibly bear with mange, wandering this countryside, or bears with mange. It could be a strand that has infected the bears in that area, and they wander in there. Or they live in the wooded areas. Mange is a disease that causes the hair of an animal to fall out and look diseased. Most animals who have fur can get it. Yes, they can. So I do think the Beast of Bray Road is a real creature. I do not think it's a werewolf, but I do think it is a bear or a large wolf with mange. I think mange is the big thing here, and I think the Beast of Bray Road could have been several animals with mange. It could have been a combination of wolves and bears, depending on the sighting. well, we haven't gone through all of them yet. So I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we did what? 7 of them so far. We have 10 left. So let's keep going, shall we? Oh, so yours isn't really cryptid. You might have seen it already. Well, yeah. Well, we'll find out. Which one did you submit in again, Ramon? I might have done it already. I've done 7 of them so far. We've done oh man, I'm gonna butcher some of these names again. The Hashaki Hachishaku-sama, the Mothman, the Dovarku, the Boitata, Sleep Paralysis Demons, Chukinoko, and the Beast of Bray Road. Those are the ones we've done so far. Okay. So the next one on the list is the Skinwalker, submitted by Zombro. Now this one I'm going to have to be more specific because I don't think he was talking about the, we just put the thing in here. Hold on. Because there are several of these. Hashik-sama. Thank you. I don't mean to keep butchering that, but I do. So there are a couple different creatures that have been called Skin Hunter over the years. There's a Native American legend. There's a couple things. But the thing from talking with Zombro, some of the things he was mentioning, I think he was more talking about this creature, which can assume the form of your loved ones and be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know any of it different. Let me pull up the wiki entry for that and read it to you all. Okay. The Skinwalker. In the Navajo language, translates, I can't say that word. I'm going to try. I'm probably going to butcher it. I do apologize. Yi Naladoshi translates to, by means of it, it goes on all fours. While perhaps the most common variety seen in horror fiction by non-Navajo people, the Skinwalker is one of several varieties of skinwalkers in Navajo culture. Specifically, they are of, I can't say that word. It's like Antonil. Navajo witches, including skinwalkers, represent antithesis of Navajo culture values, while community healers and cultural workers are known as medicine men and women, and by other positive nurturing terms in local indigenous languages, witches are seen as evil, performing twisted ceremonies and manipulating magic in a perversion of the good works medicine people traditionally perform in order to practice their good works. Traditional healers learn about both good and evil magic. Most can handle the responsibilities, but some people can become corrupt and choose to become witches. The legend of the Skinwalkers is not well understood outside of Navajo culture, mostly due to a reluctance to discuss the subject with outsiders. Traditional Navajo people are reluctant to reveal Skinwalker lore to non-Navajos or to discuss it at all among those they do not trust. Adrienne Keene, Cherokee Nation activist and founder of the blog Native Appropriations, has written, "What happens when Rowling pulls this in is we see Native people are now open up to the barrage of questions about these beliefs and traditions. But these are not things that need or should be discussed by outsiders at all. I'm sorry if it seems unfair, but that's how our culture survives." The legend. Animals associated with witchcraft usually include tricksters such as a coyote. However, it may include other creatures usually associated with death or bad omens. They may also possess living animals or people and walk around in their bodies. Skinwalkers may be male or female. Skinwalker stories told among Navajo children may be complete life and death struggles that end in either the Skinwalker or the Navajo killing the other, or partial encounters, stories that end in a stalemate. Encounter stories may be composed as Navajo victory stories, with the skinwalkers approaching a hogan and being scared away. Non-native interpretation of skinwalker stories typically take the form of partial encounter stories on the road where protagonist is temporarily vulnerable, but then escapes from the skinwalker in a way not traditionally seen in Navajo stories. Sometimes Navajo children take European folk stories and substitute skinwalkers for the generic killers like the Hook. So not a lot is known about the skinwalkers, other than the fact they can take many forms, including other people. So they can literally turn into a loved one and be right next to you and you wouldn't know. So where would we put this on our chart? Doing this creature deals with a lot of Native American magic and legend, and not much is known. I'm going to put it into sadly unlikely. The reason for this is, like I said, it deals with a lot of magic and shapeshifting. While I'm not going to say that it is something that's 100% out of the realm of possibility, it's most likely. It's improbable. I don't think that these sound as fairy taleistic as, say, a fiery snake or a demon sitting on your chest while you sleep. Especially since we don't know a lot of the nuances of what the stories actually are. We know some children versions of the stories, but we don't know the true legends because the people who have the legend don't really want to open up about it for reasons that are totally valid in their own. So going to place the Skinwalker and sadly unlikely. Maybe one day more facts about this proposed creature will come out, and we may be able to push it up to the possible or very probable status. But for now, with so little being known outside of the Navajo culture, we're going to put it into sadly unlikely, just because we don't have enough information. So up next on our tier list is Ogopogo, and that was provided by Jupiter Arcana. Ogopogo, let me get a picture of Ogopogo. Ogopogo is essentially a North American Loch Ness monster. So it is the only film that's been captured of it, of course, was At a Distance. It definitely looks like a creature more so than a rock, and it definitely appears to be something more than some of the Loch Ness monster pictures. Let's go get the wiki entry so I can tell you a little bit more about this fascinating creature. Of course, I closed that window on accident. Okay. Ogopogo. And scroll up so you can keep looking at that picture. There we go. Ogopogo is a lake monster set to inhabit Okanagan Lake in British Columbia, Canada. Some scholars have charted the entity's development from First Nations folklore and widespread water monster folklore motifs. The Ogopogo now plays a role in the commercial symbolism and media representation of the region. Okanagan Lake is the largest of 5 interconnected freshwater fjord lakes in Okanagan Valley in British Columbia. Named after the First Nations people who first inhabited the area, it was created when melting glaciers flooded the valley 10,000 years ago. It stretches from 127.1 kilometers, or 79 miles, and has a maximum depth of 232.3 meters, or 762 feet, and the average depth of 75.9 meters, or 249 feet. Okanagan has frozen over during 8 winters in the last 110 years. Yes. Oh, nice, nice. So you probably actually may have heard this legend or even seen like some of the merchandise from around that lake if you've gone up there. The background. We read that. I'm sorry. We're going to the etymology. The origins of the palindromic name Ogopogo remains unclear. According to historian Mark M. Orkin, according to the canon, the creature received its name on a night in 1924 when the strains of the English music hall song were first heard in the city of Vernon, British Columbia. Orkin cites the following lines from the song. His mother was an earwig, his father was a whale, a little bit of head, and hardly any tail. And Ogopogo was his name. Orkin, however, notes that a somewhat different form of the song appeared in the Vancouver province of 1912, August 24th, 1926, according to the DC. The name is first applied in 1912. Additionally, the creature may sometimes be referred to by the pet name Augie. Smaller creatures may have been referred to Ogopups. The history. According to the Radford, the Ogopogo is more closely tied to the native myths than any other lake monster. The Sekapuemic and the Silix natives regarded the Ogopogo, which they called the Naitaka, as an evil supernatural entity with great power and ill intent. The word Naha'tik has various translations, such as water demon, water god, or sacred creature of the water. In native lore, Ogopogo demanded a live sacrifice of safe crossing of the lake. For hundreds of years, First Nations would sacrifice small animals before entering the water. Oral traditions often describe visiting Chief Tim Basket, who rejected the required sacrifice, denying the existence of the demon. Upon entering the lake on a canoe with his family, Ogopogo whipped up from the surface of the lake with his long tail, and the canoe and its occupants were sucked into the bottom of the lake. Ogopogo is often described as using its tail to create fierce storms and drown victims. In 1975, settler John McDougall claimed that his horse was sucked down into the water, and nearly his canoe before he cut the line. According to Pat Raphael of the West Bank First Nation, a member nation of the larger Okanagan Nation Alliance, the demonic view of Ogopogo came about through miscommunication between Canada's early European settlers and the Okanagan people. To the Okanagan, it's Nahaha Itku, a sacred spirit of the lake that protects the valley. The spirit was said to dwell in the caves under Rattlesnake Island, aka Monster Island, or adjacent to Squally Point. Alleged sightings. Susan Allison's 1872 sighting was the first detailed Ogopogo account from a white settler. She was the first non-native person to live in the region, establishing relations with the native peoples. While driving on Highway 97 in 1968, Art Folden noticed something moving in the lake. He pulled off the road and filmed what he claimed to be footage of an alleged creature, showing a large wake moving across the water. Holdren estimated that the Ogopogo was 300 yards offshore. A computer analysis of the footage concluded it was a solid three-dimensional object. Holden noticed something large and lifelike in the distance out on the calm water and pulled out his home movie camera to capture the object. A 2005 investigation conducted by Benjamin Radford and Joe Nickell and John Kirk for the National Geographic Channel TV show Is It Real? Utilized surveyor boats to find the actual distance of the alleged creature from the shore. They found it was much closer to the shore than originally thought, resulting in the reduction of the actual size and speed. They concluded that it was likely a real animal, but its size had been greatly overestimated and that it was probably a waterfowl, otter, or beaver, too far away to be identified. In the 1980s, a local tourism agency offered a cash reward for proven sighting of the beast. Greenpeace announced that the beast must be filmed and not captured. The Ogopogo was listed as an endangered species in 1980. Around 50 tourists watched an alleged Ogopogo for about 45 minutes off the beach at Kelowna, Kelowna, Kelowna. Larry Thal, a tourist from Vancouver, shot some 8mm film, albeit for only 10 seconds. Some skeptics have suggested that it was only a pair of otters. In 1989, John Kirk reportedly saw an animal which was 10.7 to 12.2 meters, and it was about between 35 and 40 feet long, and consisted of 5 sleek jet black humps with a lashing tail. He believed it to be traveling around 40 kilometers, 25 miles per hour. On July 24th, 1992, videotaped something or some things that were traveling just below the surface of the water at a fairly good speed, estimated at 8 kilometers or 5 miles per hour. A boat towing a water jet skier suddenly appeared in frame, and the skier falls into the water near the object within several minutes. Diamara made 2 other videotapes, each showing what appeared to be multiple animals in the water. Benjamin Radford suggested that the creature was only several otters. In 2005, FBI video specialist Grant Fredericks concluded that the object was very consistent with debris from the fallen tree in the water, noting that it very slowly bobs up and down. He also pointed out that the alleged creature did not react to the water skier, and the skier did not seem alarmed. In 2011, a cell phone video captured 2 dark shapes in the water. A suggested explanation is that the video shows 2 logs. Radford analyzed the video for Discovery News and concluded the video quality is poor and the camera is shaky. But a close look at the 30-second video reveals that instead of one long object, that there are actually 2 shorter ones, and that they seem to be floating next to each other at slightly different angles. There are no humps or heads nor form, only 2 long, darkish, more or less straight forms that appear to be a few dozen feet long. In short, they look a lot like floating logs, which would not be surprising since Okanagan Lake has tens of thousands of logs harvested by timber industry floating just under the lake's surface. In September 2018, there was reportedly 3 sightings, one of which was described as a giant snake about 15 meters long. So that's the Ogopogo creature and the myths and the sightings that they have so far. Where would we put this at on our little chart here? I would say that the Ogopogo is possible. It's possible that it could that the original myths could have been derived from a plesiosaur or some other ancient creature, and that the natives mistook it as a spirit. It also could be some sort of isolated extinct creature that still exists to this day that is, procreating inside the waters of the lake. The lake's deep enough that they may still be under the depths and quite unfound. The thing with anything that I can explain that exists inside the water is there's so much of the world's water bodies that we don't really quite know, and they're harder to really find things in there due to the depths or murkiness of the water. I think the Loch Ness Monster falls into the same category. So we're going to leave the Ogopogo as possible. Okay, that said, let's move on to our next entry. Our next entry is Chair by Eldritch Vagabond. Yeah, I already got this wiki entry up because this was a joke entry, but I kept it in there for the spirit of having it in there because he actually linked this wiki entry. Not the chair, right, Lupin Commander? I'm terrified of chair. One of the basic pieces of furniture, a chair is a type of seat. Its primary features are 2 pieces of durable material attached to a back and set to one another at 90 degrees or slightly greater angle. So I'm not going to go through the whole entry. We're just going to do the chart. The chair is 100% real. I'm sitting in right now. Most of you are probably sitting in one as well. The chair is definitely a creature that we can confirm exists. It was a joke entry. I just took all entries that were given to me. So, right? But was a chair? Oh no, chair is real. I know. Sombro, don't look underneath of you. Just be calm. I don't mean to alarm you, but you may be sitting on a chair right now. Like, is anything you can sit on a chair? Would a sculpture of so large nobody can sit on it still be a chair? That is a really good philosophical. That is a really good question. That is a very good question. I don't know how to answer that. I would say the shape is still of chairs, but is it still actually a chair? Oh, that is that is a good one. But yeah, so we're gonna put chair as very real. Oh, we don't talk about those things. Those things are horrible. Those things that start with the T letter. I hate them. They need to just not exist anymore. But we don't want to start any kind of arguments or anything about that stuff here. So I'm very much on the side of people who get labeled that term are very much wrong. So they are very much wrong, and wish they would go away or learn to read science, because they seem to have their head stuck in like 1970s science is like the last time they updated their knowledge base. I don't know. Um, Hello, lovely owl. Thank you so much for coming in. We are in the middle of doing a tier list of cryptic creatures that were submitted by the community. So far we have done 10 of them. We have 7 left. Yes, chairs are real. Be careful. You could be sitting in one right now and not even know it. All right, let's go with the next creature on our list that was submitted. The next creature is the Jersey I can't talk today. And the Jersey Devil. This was submitted by Hieroglyph. Let's go get the picture of the Jersey Devil up. So the Jersey Devil is a curious creature. So these are the early artist renditions of the Jersey Devil. Looks like a mixture of a bat, a goat, and some sort of duck or something. Other drawings include these or other depictions of the Jersey Devil. So in some depictions, it's a small dragon. Here's another depiction of the proposed Jersey Devil, which is just a maned squirrel. So the Jersey Devil is a crazy one. Other depictions is a winged deer. So let's go through the actual descriptions through the wiki page, and we'll go talk whether this could be an actual creature that exists. Oh, here's another proposed photo of it. So is this a creature that actually exists in the wooded areas of New Jersey that just hasn't been found? Or is this just a work of fiction? Let's find out. Let's see what we think. Okay. The Jersey Devil. In the southern New Jersey, in Philadelphia folklore of the United States, the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the Pine Barrens of South Jersey. The creature is often described as a flying biped with hooves, but there are many variations. The common description is that the bipedal kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature with those horse or goat-like head, leathery bat wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail, has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated in the Pine Barrens. Resident named Jane Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children, and after finding she was pregnant for the 13th time, cursed the child in frustration. Crying that the child would be the devil, in 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around her. Born as a normal child, the 13th child changed into a creature with hooves, a goat's head, and bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. Some versions of the legend also state that there was a subsequent attempt by local clergymen to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. The Leeds family. Prior to the early 1900s and before the series of reported sightings of the creature during 1909, the Jersey Devil was referred to as the Leeds Devil or the Devil of Leeds, either in connection to the local Leeds family or the southern Jersey town, Leeds Point. Mother Leeds had been identified by some as Deborah Leeds on grounds that Deborah Leeds' husband, Japhet Leeds, named 12 children in the will he wrote during 1736, which is compatible with the legend. Deborah and Japhet Leeds also lived in the Leeds Point section of what is now Atlantic County, New Jersey, which is commonly the location of the Jersey Devil story. It does look like a winged goat. Brian Regal, a historian of science at Keene University, theorizes the story of Mother Leeds, rather than being based on a single historical person, originated from colonial southern New Jersey, religio-political disputes that became the subject of folklore and gossip among the local population. According to Regal, folk legends concerning these historical disputes evolved through the years and ultimately resulted in the modern popular legend of the Jersey Devil. During the early 20th century, between 1657, during the early 20th century, Regal contends that the colonial area. I started that. My eyes are starting to reread lines. I apologize. Between 1651 and 1720 resulted in the Leeds family being described as monsters, and it was Daniel Leeds' negative description of the Leeds Devil, rather than any actual creature, that created the later legend of the Jersey Devil. Right. Much like the mother Leeds in the Jersey Devil myth, Daniel Leeds' third wife had given birth to 9 children, a large number of children even for the time. Leeds' second wife and first daughter had both died during childbirth. As a royal surveyor with strong allegiance to the British Crown, Leeds has also surveyed and acquired land in the Egg Harbor area located within the Pine Barrens. The land was inherited by Leeds' son and family and is now known as Leeds Point, one of the areas in the Pine Barrens currently most associated with the Jersey Devil legend and alleged Jersey Devil sightings. So the Leeds Devil is interesting one. Oh, I'm being rated. Hi, Sleepless Rambles. Hi. Welcome in. How was your stream? Oh, thank you, Ghosty, for the hydrate. And a stretch. I will take that stretch, thank you. I've been hunched over reading this entire time. Okay. And how was your stream, Rambles? Hello, Raiders. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bloody Esme, and welcome to the Mirror Shade. I am a horror YouTuber, a VTuber, sorry, and I specialize in all things horror, whether it's spooky stories, spooky games, cryptids, creepypastas, and other forms of horror, movies, etc., etc. Today we are doing 17 cryptids that were submitted by the community. We're reading their wiki entries, looking at descriptions of them, and judging whether these things were based purely on exaggerated myth, or could have been based on some real creature, or are in fact real. It is rather spooky. Not spooky enough for the owl. Don't worry, I promised I'd do more spookier stuff than this. This is something I figured would be fun to interact with the community. So we are currently on the Jersey Devil, which was submitted by one of our own members of the menagerie, Hieroglyph. And we're currently going over the Devil's legend right now so that we can get a better understanding of where it came from and what it could possibly be. Right, so as I was stating, so the Leeds Devil, pretty much in the 1700s to early 1800s, the Leeds Devil had become a legendary monster or ghost story in the southern New Jersey area. In the early to mid-19th century, stories continued to circulate in southern New Jersey of the Leeds Devil, a monster wandering the Pine Barrens. An oral tradition of the Leeds Devil monster ghost stories subsequently became established in the Pine Barren area. Although the Leeds Devil legend has apparently existed since the 18th century, Regal states that the more modern depiction of the Jersey Devil, as well as the now pervasive Jersey Devil name, first became truly standardized in the current form during the early 20th century. But during the pre-revolutionary period, the Leeds Devil, who called the Pine Barrens its home, soured its relationship with the Quaker majority. The Quakers saw no hurry to give their former fellow religionists an easy time in circles of gossip. His wives had all died and has several children. His son Titan stood by accused by Benjamin Franklin of being a ghost. The family crest had winged dragons on it, and in a time when thoughts of independence was being born, these issues made the Leeds family's political and religious monsters. From all from all of this over time, the legend of the Leeds Devil was born. References to the Jersey Devil do not appear in the newspaper or other printed material until the 20th century. The first major flap came in 1909, and it is from these sightings that the popular image of the creature, bat-like wings, horse head, claws, and the general air of a dragon became standardized. Yeah, absolutely, Ron. We can definitely do we should if we have time we can definitely do another one. Um Okay. So pretty much it sounds like the Jersey Devil definitely comes from a lot of stories, but let's go with the sightings from the 20th century where it truly got its name Jersey Devil. So these started in 1909. During the week of January 16th of 1909 through January 23rd of 1909, newspapers of the time published hundreds of claimed encounters with the Jersey Devil from all over the state. Among alleged encounters publicized that week were claims that the creature attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and a social club in Camden. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania, supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. Other reports initially concerned unidentified footprints in the snow, but some sightings of the creature resembling the Jersey Devil were being reported throughout South Jersey and as far away as Delaware and western Maryland. The widespread newspaper coverage created fear throughout the Delaware Valley, prompting the number of schools to close and workers to stay home. Vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and countryside in search of the devil. During this period, it is rumored that the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for the creature, an offer prompted a variety of hoaxes, including a kangaroo equipped with artificial claws and bat wings. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that would have been fantastic to see, although I feel bad for the poor kangaroo, because I don't know how they got those wings affixed to it. Or the claws. Explanations. Skeptic believes the Jersey Devil to be nothing more than a creative manifestation upon the imaginations of the early English settlers. Plausible and natural explanations include boogeyman stories created and told by bored Pine Barren residents as a form of children's entertainment, the byproduct of historical local disdain for the Leeds family, the misidentification of known animals, and rumor based on common negative perceptions of local rural population of the Pines Barren, known as Pineys. The frightening reputation. Yeah, that too, especially in 1909, but who knows? I mean, by that point, there was a lot of open trade, so who knows where they could have gotten that from. The frightening reputation of the Pine Barrens may indeed have contributed to the Jersey Devil legend. Historically, the Pine Barrens was considered inhospitable land. Gangs of highwaymen such as politically disdained loyalist brigades, known as the Pine Robbers, were known to rob and attack travelers passing through the Barrens during the 17 and 1800s. Residents of the isolated Pine Barrens were deemed the dregs or outcasts of society. Poor farmers, fugitives, brigands, Native Americans, poachers, moonshiners, runaway slaves, and deserting soldiers, so-called Pineys, have sometimes fostered certain frightening stories about themselves and the Pine Barrens to discourage outsiders or intruders from entering the Barrens. Pineys were further demonized and vilified after two eugenics studies were published during the early 20th century, which depicted Pineys as a congenial idiots and criminals, as seen in the research performed on the Kallikak family by Henry H. Goddard. which is now considered biased or inaccurate and most likely falsified. Jeff Berner of the Humane Society of New Jersey thinks the sandhill crane is the basis for the Jersey Devil stories, adding, "There are no photographs, no bones, no hard evidence whatsoever, and worst of all, no explanation of its origins that doesn't require the belief in the supernatural." Outdoorsman and author Tom Brown Jr. spent several seasons living in the wilderness of the Pine Barrens. He recounts occasions when terrified hikers mistook him for the Jersey Devil after he covered his body in mud to repel mosquitoes. So overall, I think for the Jersey Devil, I think he's fantasy. I don't think that there was anything there that was even remotely the Jersey Devil. I think it was a story made up by highly religious and superstitious people to demonize a family that they disliked. I do think that there may have been sightings of creatures that people mistook for something that they didn't understand. But I don't think there was ever a creature that was truly the Jersey Devil in the New Jersey Pines. I think this is true, just fully a work of fiction and nothing else. That said, now let's move on to our next creature. The Donkey Lady of the Donkey Lady Bridge from Lupine Commander. So I had a hard time finding any images of the Donkey Lady from Donkey Lady Bridge. The images that I was given were of general donkey ladies. So we're just going to go with what I've been able to find. Most of the images were artistic interpretations, no blurred real images. This was one of them that I found. Since we don't have any real images of the Donkey Lady, let's go read the myth of the Donkey Lady. Yeah, I do wonder where they found the kangaroo from. Like, I don't know if they were just hiding a kangaroo and they like imported it from Australia in like a personal zoo or what. But that is crazy. Oh, let me try that. Donkey Lady legend. I definitely found the Wikipedia entry for it. I just couldn't find any good images for it. Okay, so let's go to the legend. Let's read you the legend of the Donkey Lady. Okay. Bridge Wiki. Where is that wiki entry I had earlier? Here we go. Okay. Donkey Lady of San Antonio. The Donkey Lady is a legend from San Antonio, Texas, about a woman that is part donkey. In cryptozoological terms, the only known sightings were just from misidentifications of domesticated donkeys. The legend. Many stories have come from this legend, from her being a burn victim that was burned so bad that after she healed, her hands were fused into black hooved-like appendages and a melted, saggy face resembling a donkey. Other legends say that she was once a normal woman who had a pet donkey that she loved so much that after the donkey was taken away by some neighbors, after a bit, one of the neighbors not only did the neighbor. Wait, that sentence didn't make any sense. Let me read that again. Other legends say that she was once a normal woman who had a pet donkey that she loved so much that after the donkey was taken away by some neighbors, after it bit one of the neighbors, not only did the neighbors shove the donkey into the river over the nearby bridge, the men then shoved the woman into the river to drown, and now her ghost is said to haunt the now named after Donkey Lady Bridge in the form of a terrible half-human, half-donkey hybrid. The creature is believed to inhabit the Donkey Lady Bridge and is the bridge that crosses Elm Creek via Applewhite Road, approximately 4 miles north of Loop 1604 in the south side of San Antonio. In the 1960s, locals claimed to have sighted a creature wailing or crying. However, it was determined to be only a domestic donkey. Donkey hoof prints have been found though, and they are likely just hoof prints of the domestic donkey. That's really all the story they have there for that creature. Yeah, it does sound like the Hamburger Lady. So with the Donkey Lady legend, I'm going to say that she is likely. I'm going to say she's sadly unlikely. The only reason I'm putting her here instead of fantasy is because we did have the plausible story that the donkey lady could have been someone who was terribly burned and malformed. Right, the donkey bit me thrown in the river. Um, some people are just very cruel humans and horrible people. Yeah, so it could have been the birth defect or skin condition. It could have been the it could have also been the burned person. So I'm gonna say sadly unlikely. The only reason why I'm putting it here instead of fantasy is because when this legend propped up, people were crude, more superstitious, and could have mistaken someone who had either a skin condition or a birth defect or was horribly burned as something that she wasn't. So sadly unlikely is where we put the Donkey Lady of Donkey Lady Bridge. All right, our next one is the Knuckle Leave by Micah, and that was submitted by Micah D. Dannon. Oh, the Knuckle Lavi. I'm probably butchering that name too, but we'll put some images in here. Okay, okay, then here it is. So this thing was what was submitted. It is very, very it's a thing. It's a thing. We're gonna go over its legend and we'll go from there. Meat, yeah. I already know where I want to put this, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt and read the legend before I do anything. So let me pull up the wiki entry for this creature. Right, extreme meat punks forever. I have seen this creature used in video games. I have seen it used in other works of fiction. There was a version of it in Ruby during the last season. Um, so I've seen versions of this creature used in things. But let's read its legend, and we'll go from there. The Knucklevi, is a horse-like demon from Orcadian mythology that combines equine and human elements and has its origins in Norse mythology and British folk mythology. And British folklorist Catherine Biggs calls it the nastiest of all the demons in Scotland, Scotland's Northern Isles. The Knucklevi's breath was thought to wilt crops and sicken livestock, and with the creature was held responsible for droughts and epidemics on land, despite being predominantly a sea dweller. A graphic description of the Knuckleeve, as it appears on land, was given by an islander who claimed to have had a confrontation with it, but accounts describing the details of the creature's appearance are inconsistent. In common with many other sea monsters, it is unable to tolerate fresh water. Therefore, those it is pursuing have only to cross a river or a stream to be rid of it. The Knuckleeve is kept in confinement during the summer months by the Myther of the Sea, an ancient Arcadian spirit, and the only one able to control it. That being said, this is purely a work of fiction. I don't think that there's ever been a creature this could have been. At best, the origins of this could have been a horse that had a dead rider on it, and it's possible that dead rider could have been somehow fixed on the horse to the point where it started to decay. Um, it is crazy looking. It's very cool looking, but I think it's purely fantasy. I don't think this creature has ever truly existed, and I think it's more of a work of fiction than anything else. Okay, so our next creature that we're going into for this one is, let's pull it up here. Akaminato. Okay, Akaminato was submitted by Kyria Thanatos, who is a really cool zombie VTuber. Zombro, if you don't know Kyria and you don't follow her, you definitely should, because she's pretty cool. And any of you, really, if you like zombies and zombie VTubers, Kyria is really, really cool, and he's a total peach. Okay, so Akaminato, let's go to the pictures. Yeah, I'll link, Kyria. Do you know Kyria Thanatos? She's really cool, a zombie VTuber. Yeah, if you haven't followed Kyria, I highly recommend following her. She is super duper cool. So this is the Akaminato. This is what it looks like. So this thing already, I have opinions on it, and we'll go through those opinions after we read the post about her. Let me just up one of these images so you can stare at her. Okay, and let me go over to the wiki entry and read this off to you. We'll see how much time we have, because Ramnant did ask to submit one more and two, so we'll see how much time we have after Ramnant puts theirs in at the end, okay? So maybe. Okay. Okay, Akaminato. Would help if I went to the right page. There's actually a video game based on this one too, so I accidentally clicked on the Steam page for the video game instead of the actual story. Okay, Akaminato, also known as Red Cape, Red Vest, Akikami Oekami, or occasionally Aoe Manto, is a Japanese urban legend about a masked spirit who wears a red cloak and who appears to people using toilets in public or school bathrooms. Accounts of the legend vary, but one consistent element of the story is that the spirit will ask the occupant of the toilet a question. In some versions, he will ask if they want a red paper or blue paper, though other versions identify the choices as a red cloak or blue cloak, or as a red cape or blue cape. Choosing either option will result in the individual being killed, so the individual must ignore the spirit, run away, or reject both options in order to survive. Akaminato is described as a male spirit, ghost, or yokai who haunts public school or school bathrooms. Akaminato is often said to haunt female bathrooms specifically, and in some versions of the legend, he is said to haunt the last stall in such bathrooms. The spirit is said to wear a flowing red cloak and a mask which hides his face, and sometimes described as being handsome and charming beneath his mask. According to the legend, if a person is sitting on a toilet in a public or school bathroom, Akaminato may appear and will ask them if they want a red paper or blue paper. Depending on the version of the story, the spirit may ask them to choose between. We know that already. Pretty much, if you choose the red option, they will be lacerated in such a manner that their dead body will be drenched in their own blood. The specific manner in which the person is lacerated differs depending on the account of the legend, including the person being stabbed or flayed. If the individual chooses the blue option, the consequences range from that person being strangled to all the person's blood being drained from their body. If an individual attempts to outsmart Akaminato by asking for a different color of paper, cloak, or cape, it is often said that they will be dragged out to an underworld or hell as a result. In some versions, choosing a yellow paper, cloak, or cape will result in the occupant's head being forced into the toilet. Ignoring the spirit, or replying that one does not want or prefer either kind of paper, is said to make the spirit go away. In some accounts, rejecting both options and running away from Akaminato will also result in the individual's survival, although sometimes Akaminato will simply block the exit. Oh, hold on. Gotta switch over to the chat again. Film. Alright, bear with me for a minute, people. We are in emote only chat. I'm getting hit by a whole bunch of bosses, so we're gonna go get rid of all of them here, so bear with me. Okay, slash ban. whole bunch of underscores on this one. Don't really... I can tell. Never mind, I can tell by highlighting. Fan. Toss. 1, 2, 3. 0, 0, 3, 1, 2. Slash ban. Toss. Underscore underscore. 0, 0, 3, 1, 2. Slash ban. Toss. Underscore. Underscore 0, 0, 3, 1, 2. I do apologize for the wait, people. We'd have to get these out of here so they don't cause any kind of damage or say anything that no one really needs to see being said. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Okay, let me make sure I have them all. Okay. And one more. Nope. I forgot the slash. Just gonna do a couple more just to, in case we have a couple different variants of this. Because if these are still picking up and banning them, that means these accounts exist. So bear with me here. Okay, so they only did up to 7 underscores. Alright, we can switch back. And... Alright, we are free. The hosses have been banned for now. Okay, so let's head back to... We were pretty much done with this. So Akaminato is... This is a hard one. While I don't think... Right, that'd be nice if I could just ban anything with the name Hoss on it. Yes, Beast on the Remains. So, with Akaminato, I don't believe it exists as a spirit. I do, however, especially with the way it's dressed and with the mask, believe it could have been a predator preying on female women in public or school bathrooms, especially probably a teacher or another older male who wanted to keep their identity a secret. So I do want to say that the Akaminato is possible, but not as a spirit, but as someone who either a murderer or a fetish for women that wanted to take advantage of them but didn't want his identity revealed. So Akaminato is possible. Not, like I said, not as a ghost, but as a human wearing a disguise. Not saying that he ever existed, but the existence is, like I said, possible, that this was based on a real person. Up next, we have the Oklahoma octopus, submitted by Myth Baron. Let me go get you all a picture of the Oklahoma octopus. Now, the Oklahoma octopus is simply just that. It's an octopus believed to be found in some of the fresh waters of Oklahoma. But we'll read the wiki entry, the wiki entry to get more information about this creature. Yeah, Zombro, I'm gonna make you a temporary, oh, I'm just gonna make you a mod. I'm gonna make you a temporary mod so I can have some help with this, so I don't have to keep doing it myself. So let me do that for you. See if that works. It didn't say anything, but you should have the mod sword next to your name now. Just type something so I can see if you get the icon. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you too, Sleepless. Alright, you both have it. If you have any more hosses pop in, just take them out. So I can just concentrate on actually entertaining people. I do apologize to everyone for the hosses. Make sure there's no other hosses watching right now. No, we have no hosses watching, so we're good. Alright, let's go ahead and go back to our stream, shall we? Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the Oklahoma octopus. The Oklahoma octopus is a cryptid generally said to inhabit some freshwater, man-made lakes of Oklahoma, including Lake Thunderbird, Beluga Lake, and Lake Tenkiller, where it attacks and kills unsuspecting swimmers. There is no existing footage of it. Evidence. Although no physical evidence in the case of the Oklahoma octopus, many point to the high mortality rate of large number of unexplained drownings in the Oklahoma lakes as a clear sign of its presence. There have also even been numerous reported sightings. The Oklahoma octopus is most likely a cephalopod, more specifically an octopus according to the description of the creature. This would make the Oklahoma octopus the only freshwater dwelling cephalopod species. This would not make this animal entry unique, as numerous members of the typically marine requiem sharks live in freshwater environments exclusively, including the Ganges river shark. Some skeptics doubt the existence of such oddity. However, octopi have been recorded, at least for a brief period of time, living in freshwater environments. One such case involves a common octopus being caught in Lake Conway in Faulkner County, Arkansas. The animal was most likely a released pet that survived long enough to cling onto the gates of the lake's dam. Cephalopod, thank you. According to the rumor, this freshwater cephalopod is about the size of a horse and resembles an octopus with long tentacles and leathery reddish-brown skin. The habitat. The Oklahoma octopus is reported to live in Lake Thunderbird, Lake Ulaga, and Lake Tenkiller, which are all in Oklahoma. These lakes are all freshwater man-made bodies. Diet. The species most likely has similar diet to a marine octopus, with it eating freshwater species similar to its marine counterparts' prey. However, the drawings in the lake where it's reported to live could be caused by the octopus. An octopus of this size can have up to 8 strong tentacles to pull an unwilling human underwater. Controversy. Due to the lakes being man-made, drownings are most likely a result of people getting drunk and not paying attention while swimming. Also, drowned victims have no sucker lacerations on their body. So, does the Oklahoma octopus exist, or is this simply drunken Oklahomians getting a little bit too tipsy and meeting an ill-timed fate? I'm going to say the Oklahoma octopus is sadly unlikely. While there is a small it's very much probably not a real thing. Like I said, like the article said, some octopi have lived for a short period of time in fresh water, but there's been no reported instances of freshwater octopi, and these lakes are all man-made. If such a creature does exist, it was probably some released pets that adapted. But with the bodies of the drowned victims being found with no sucker lacerations, it's likely that this creature doesn't exist at all, and this is just being made up by the people around the area so that they can have a reason as to why people are drowning there. So we're going to say it's not a real creature. Alright, up next is the Mapingari, submitted by Julie. Alright, Mapingari. Show you the pictures of the thing. This thing is hideously awesome. So if this thing ever did exist or does exist, I want to see it because holy shit, does it look cool. That's all I'm going to say with this one. Look at this thing. This is what this thing's supposed to look like. This thing is awesome. And had this creature ever existed, I would like to see it. Let's go to the wiki entry and read about the wiki entry of this creature. Like I said, it looks really cool. It's probably one of the most outlandish, freakishly but awesome creatures on this list so far. But I'm a sucker for mouths in the stomach. So let's pull up the wiki entry here. All right. Okay. In Brazilian folklore, the Mapingari, or Mapingare, also called Juma, is a monstrous entity said to live in the Amazon rainforest. Depictions of the Mapingari vary sometimes. It is described as a hairy humanoid cyclops. Other people claim that it is based on a cultural memory of the giant ground sloth, a long extinct animal that is said to resemble. The creature is often said to have a gaping mouth in its abdomen. Terminology. According to Felipe Feria van der Velden, its name is a contradiction of the Tupi-Guanari words Mabe P Ngari, meaning a thing that has a bent or crooked foot or paw. Other names which have been said to apply to the same being include Kiritanya, Kitty Harara, and the Machiguenga Tagami. So not a whole lot in here about this creature. It looks cool as heck. My thought after reading this and looking into it is that this creature was very probably, as I said, the memory of the giant sloths. So I think that this creature could have existed at one time. I do think that it was the giant sloth. I don't think that it had the mouth in its stomach. I think that was something that was embellished through legend over time. But the first thing I thought of when I saw the pictures of this was, wow, is that a giant sloth? And then I noticed the mouth stomach. So I do think that this creature could have existed, but probably didn't exist as a creature with a mouth in its stomach. But yeah, so, I mean, who knows? With the Amazon being parts of it still very much unexplored, the giant ground sloth could still exist in some capacity. Well, it's unlikely. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. All right, and our last of the community entries here, before we take one or two more entries and read them, because we do have time, is going to be the Puka by Sister Rose. So let me show you all a picture of this lovely creature. I didn't mean to go to that. I meant to go to the picture. Images. It's me. So this creature is really cool looking. A couple pictures of it. This is the one I'm using for the tier list. It's me, Esme. I have a curse to you. Fuck you. You stole a child's Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition. Fuck you. And look at me. I'm an Esme. I'm a Mario. Okay. Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, this is a cool creature. Let me go to the wiki entry, and we'll talk about it. All right. Ooh, the puka design for the mage and demon queen are very cute too. More goat-like. Oh, nice. All right. So, the puka, um, is an Irish spirit or ghost. Um, is primarily a creature of Celtic folklore, considered to be bringers of both good and bad fortune. They could help or hinder rural or marine communities. Um, Puka can have dark or white fur or hair. The creatures are said to be shape changers, which could take the appearance of horses, goats, cats, dogs, and hares. They may also take human form, which include various animal features such as ears or a tail. The puka has counterparts throughout the Celtic cultures of northwest Europe. For instance, in Welsh mythology, it is named the Pwca, and in Cornish, the Bucca, thus being related to the etymology of the Melu to the Bugaboo. In the Channel Islands, the Pokue were said to be fairies who lived near ancient stones. In Norman French of the islands, the Cromlech, it's Cromlech, so Cromlech, or prehistoric tomb, is referred to as a. I'm terrible at French, I'm not even going to try to say these words. Are corresponding terms in Brittany. The nature of the puka. Puka may be regarded as being either menacing or beneficial. Fairy mythologist Thomas Keightley, the notions respecting it are very vague, and in a brief description given in an account collected by Crocker from a boy living near Killarney, that old people used to say that the pukas were very numerous long ago, where wicked-minded, black-looking bad things that would come in the form of a wild colts and chain hanging around them, and that did much to harm unwary travelers. Also, little bad boys and girls were warned not to eat overripe blackberries because this was a sign that the puka has entered them. One theme of the puka's folklore is that it has a tendency for mischief. They are commonly said to entice humans to take a ride on their back, giving the rider a wild and terrifying journey before dropping the unlucky person back at the place they were taken from. This lore bears similarities to other Irish folklore creatures, such as the Daoine Maith. It's Daoine Maithe. I know I butchered that, but the translation is good people. Or the Slough Sea ferry host. There you go. Give them a ride as a caribou. Said to target humans on the road or along their regular passes. These human encounters with the puka tend to occur in rural, isolated places far north from settlements or homes. While puka stories can be found across northern Europe, Irish tales specifically, a protective measure for encountering a puka, it is said that the rider may be able to take control of the puka by wearing sharp spurs, using those to prevent being taken or to steer the creature if already on its back. So that's the puka. It's shapeshifter, Irish mythology. Um, a lot of the Celtic mythology is very deep. I would say honestly, and this isn't going with the if it could be real or not. I think even though I'm terrible at saying their names, I think Celtic mythology is probably one of my favorites of European mythologies. I also it's one. I also think like Ireland in general is one of those areas in the world that I really like. That even though the Catholic Church took over a good majority of the country, they managed to keep a lot of their myths and legends alive, mixed within Christianity. And I've always respected that. I like when cultures are able to keep their religions and their folklore and everything, even if they've been appropriated by another religion. Um, Latin America has also done this very heavily. especially in Mexico. A lot of the old Mexican beliefs and legends still exist within Christianity. And that's another country whose mythos, lore, and everything and those things I truly love, because they were able to keep a lot of their identity and not lose it. So, oh, hello, more horses. I'm gonna switch it over to emote chat so you all can get rid of them. And I'm just going to talk and let me know when you get rid of them. Let me spam the Esme emote whenever they're gone, and I'll put it back out of emote chat. Or you actually should be able to change it back. Just give it a few moments. There's gonna be a few of them coming in. Remember, don't click on them. Do the /ban and type their name in. Okay, so back to the puka. I'm gonna say that the puka is sadly unlikely in its truest form. I think that the puka itself, in some of its forms, could have, some of the forms could have been mischievous animals or weirder animals that quite weren't understood, or even prehistoric animals that didn't quite die out. So I'm going to say that those things could have existed, but the actual fairy creature itself, I don't think ever existed. If it did, that would be awesome. I'd like to think that there was magic once in the world and creatures that existed like that. But realistically, either they died off long ago, or they're not around anymore. So we have no proof of them. So I'm going to put them in sadly unlikely. Alright. Okay. So we're back. Yeah, they are. Thank you, Zombro, for getting rid of those. I appreciate that, and for changing it back. Well, Sister Rose, you are awesome, and you are an anomaly of awesomeness. And that's how I explain you. You are awesome. Yeah. Zombro, you are awesome. Okay, so that is the main list. Renan, I think you had one that you would like me to do. If you wanted to give me the name, I will look it up and we will add it to this tier list real quick. I can't add to the tier list itself, but we can definitely go over it, pull up the wiki, pull up a picture, and I will tell you where I would put it on the list, and then we will do Sister Rose's other entry. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Renan, are you still there? Hi. You want to go second? Yeah, go ahead. Sister Rose, what was your friend's creature that you wanted me to do? Okay, let me copy and paste that. Filipino legends are awesome too. So I just watched Trece not too long ago on Netflix, and that was freaking awesome. And I am completely enamored with a lot of Filipino legends now because of it, because I hadn't truly looked into them before. And holy shit, do they have some amazing legends! Yeah, Mare, you're in the Philippines, right, Mare? Okay. Let's go ahead and put this in here. Let's pull up a picture of this bad boy. Ooh. Is this the winged lady thing? Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so this is wholly awesome. Wholly awesome. So this is cool. So if I was just judging this basically just on looks alone, this would be 100% S tier. Holy shit, this would be S tier. This is awesomely hot. Okay, I definitely will. Yeah, this would definitely be an S tier monster. No ifs, ands, or buts. Um, so let's go read. Let's pull up the wiki. And let me just pull up a picture of this that would be safe to pull up a bigger picture. I'm looking for something that would be safe. Let's do. We're gonna do this cartoon image of it just because it's safe for work. Okay, so we're gonna put that one up there. Okay, I will definitely do that as soon as we're done with the wiki entry here. Okay. And of course I closed that window out, so let me just pull open another one here. Okay, let's put this in here. All right, Wikipedia. I'm probably going to butcher this name, and I apologize. The Menenungun guy, is it Menenungal? Menenungal is an old mythological creature of the Philippines that separates from their lower part of their body, um, and their fangs and wings give it a vampire-like appearance. Oh, good, good, good. Um, it's described as scary, often hideous, usually depicted as female, and always capable of severing its upper torso and sprouting large bat wings to fly into the night in search of its victims. The word Manananingal comes from the Tagalog word Tanggal, which means to remove or to separate, which literally translates as remover or separator in this case, one who separates itself. The name also originates from an expression used for a severed torso. It is said to favor preying on sleeping pregnant women using an elongated proboscis-like tongue to suck the hearts of the fetuses or the blood of someone who is sleeping. It also haunts newlyweds or couples in love. Due to being left at the altar, grooms-to-be are one of its main targets. The severed lower torso is left standing and is more vulnerable of the two halves. Sprinkling salt, smearing crushed garlic or ash on top of the standing torso is fatal to the creature. The upper torso then would not be able to rejoin itself and would perish by sunrise. Okay. The myth is popular in the Visayan regions of the Philippines, especially in the western provinces of Capiz, Lololo, and Boholo and Antique. There are varying accounts of the features of the creature, like vampires, Visayan folklore creatures, and aswangs. They are also said to abhor garlic, salt, and holy water. They were also known to avoid daggers, light vinegar, spices, and the tail of a stingray, which can be fashioned as a whip. Folklore of similar creatures can be found in the neighboring nations of Indonesia and Malaysia. The province of Capiz is the subject or focus of many stories of the creature, as with the stories of other types of mythological creatures such as ghosts, goblins, and ghouls. Generically referring to as aswangs, sightings are purported here, and certain local folk are said to believe in their existence despite modernization. They share some features with the vampire of the Balkan folklore, such as the dislike for garlic, salt, and vulnerability to sunlight. Okay, so this creature is. I'm gonna definitely say that I don't like without going into magic. And if you're just going with science, we're just going with science here and what we know with the natural world. I'm gonna say that this creature is fantasy. Um, I'm not saying that if a mystical world exists beyond our understandings, that it could not. Oh, I'm tripping on words so bad. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist in that type of world. But I'm saying what we know from science. I don't think that such a creature does exist. And it's probably just myths, in folklores coming about. And the fact that it exists on the other island nations as well is probably from trade um, or exploration. So that's my opinion on that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist entirely. I'm just saying it's most likely fantasy. Okay. And now we're waiting for Renan to finish theirs, and they can just send me the name of it. It's possible there could be a wiki entry already translated or not, or is this just a full-out story you would like me to read? Because I was going to close the night with the story, so I can do that if you'd like me to. Oh, okay. Let me open up. Twitch here. Let me open up the other window. Go to Twitch. Okay, Ghost Story Urban Legend. Okay, we can do that. Maybe we'll do 2 stories tonight then. It's just taking a minute to load. Twitch loads up so slow whenever I have the something running. Did you send it to me on Twitter or did you send it to me on Twitch? Let me look at Twitter real quick. Oh, Twitch? Okay. There it is. Yeah, it just popped up. Okay. All right. I sent a request for access to it because you didn't give me access to it. Oh yeah, we can look her up real quick. Let me do that. There we go. I got access to that story. So yeah, let's look up Sister Rose's friend first, and then we'll read that. Okay, let's see if I can find them in just Google Images. If not, we'll look them up through Twitter. I think I see them already. I have actually seen them before. Yeah, they have a very cool design. I remember seeing the abs. Let's just go to the. Here we go. So I'm assuming this is like a 2D model they had. I saw one with like a mesh top with a lot of abs on Twitter before. So I'm assuming that's theirs as well. That's probably the one that I saw recently then. Let me see if I can find that. Let me just go to their Twitter. Doop. Oh, was it? I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Let me just go back up. Let's go back up. Where? I don't see it. Okay. Down one. This one right here, or? Okay. Oh, one page. There it is. Pop there. Right there? Where my mouse is? Where I'm hovering around? That one? Buddy's Barbecue? Up one line. There. That thing? Okay. Middle. Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, with the Dark Order. Okay. There we go. I wasn't looking at that because I just saw the Dark Order sitting there. So I didn't see her there at first. She actually blended in pretty well. Did she put herself over top of Anna J? Or is she just like in the picture there, just in general? Yeah, she's got a great design. It's really cool. I like it a lot. Oh. Ghosty Toast redeemed a hydrate. Thank you, Ghosty. You're welcome. So yeah, that's Sister Rose's friend. Okay, let's go to the story that was submitted by Renault. Let me go get the pictures up first. Okay. Okay. I'm guessing this is a depiction of the thing we're gonna be looking up here. Okay, let's go to the story. The Woman in the Black Cloak. Or the Black Cloak Woman. The Black Cloak Woman is one of the biggest symbols of the Our Lady of Mercy Cemetery, located in the Pardo district of Maceió, Alagoas, Brazil, one of the oldest in the state. The story is an urban legend that dates decades. Currently exists a marble replica of the cloak on a cross placed over a tomb. In the beginning of the 20th century, a man met a beautiful woman at a ball, which he fancied. Soon after, they became acquaintances and stayed with each other for the entirety of the ball. At midnight, she wanted to leave and mentioned this to the man. It was a rainy night, so he decided that he would take her home. So he gave her his cloak to cover herself. She said to stop at the gates of the cemetery where she stayed. Before that, she gave an address. Antonia Fidelis dos Santos, north 77 degrees. The address leads to the cleaning service responsible for the maintenance of the cemetery ever since the creation of the district. The man went to the woman's house, where the family informed the man that no one with her name lived at the house, but was the name of their deceased daughter. He refused to believe what he had heard, believing that this was some kind of prank. After sitting down and properly speaking with the family, they went over to the cemetery and showed the tomb of the woman. When they reached their destination, he saw his cloak on top of the cross, the same cloak that he gave to the woman. Another citizen of the district, Euclides Correa de Silva, 76 years old and retired, worked for 40 years as a builder for the cemetery. He commented, "When I came back to work, the cloak was already built. Every year on Brazil's Day of the Dead, 2nd of November, people visit her tomb and ask her story." Ooh, interesting. Yeah, there's some Western stories of ghost stories similar to this, where someone meets a beautiful woman and she ends up being a ghost. Yeah, it's definitely very cool. And there are a lot of stories throughout many cultures that are very similar to this. I would say that if the supernatural world and spirits are 100% real, which I do believe they do exist, like spirits do exist. So I'm not. So I will say that I do believe that ghosts and stuff like that do exist. Um, Things like this are way too common and widespread, and I do think that because of how common and widespread they are, here's the cross in question, that these things like this could happen. Spirit energy, spirits themselves that were restless, looking for just one last release of life. Lots of different things that could happen for this. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was a really cool little short story. I really enjoyed it. That said, let's move us over to let's go read us all a bedtime story. Let me go get us a creepy pasta. That'll be frightful and set us out for bed beautifully. Okay, so let's pull up. We are going to, let me see here. Let me open up a different window. And creepypasta. All right, let me go to the creepypasta website. And what we're gonna do with this is I'm going to go. Yeah, it was a very good story though. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. Let's go to creepypasta stories. We're gonna go to recently published, and we're gonna pick one of the higher ranked ones, the rated ones. Let's look for something that's at least 9 or higher. Let me see if I can find something 9 or higher here. Ooh, here we go. I investigate disturbing cases. Here are my stories. Voices from nature. Let me see how long this one is. Oh, this one's super duper long. We're not going to do this one. This one's way longer than I wanted it to be. So let me look for one more. So while I'm looking, do any of you have any favorite ghost stories or stories or what urban legend stories that you really love? Something that, stuck with you that you heard as a child that you still think of occasionally to this day? Things like Bloody Mary or any other like little legend like that. Aliens are definitely anything with aliens definitely sticks with me. So I'm going to admit this. One of the few horror tropes that I actually get scared from are alien abduction stories in rural areas. It's one of the reasons why I don't like living in rural areas because shit's scary. um, they stick with me. They stick with me, and like I don't know. One of those things I think are probably the most probable thing that could happen. I think that alien abductions are eventually they're gonna come. Eventually they're gonna like. We're not the only life in the universe. Um, so it's definitely something that I think about, and that does creep me out a little bit. Like, what if we do get visited by a hostile alien that wants to abduct some of us, do experiments before they attack? Just the thought of what could happen in those is just terrifying. Okay. Yeah. Oh, geez, hostile alien. Oh, you went there. Um, do I often hear weird noises though? I do, and I see things out of the corner of my eye all the time. Um, but I'm also Wiccan. Um, so like I said, I do believe in spirits and stuff like that. So I do. Those are things I do see a lot. I'm not as afraid of ghosts and things like that. Um, like I said, like sorry, I just had a text real quick. I had to check. Bear with me here one moment. Let me respond to this real quick. It's a little bit of an important one. It'll just take a second. Yeah, so I do believe in spirits and energy. I'm not as afraid of those as you would think, though, because, like I said, I am Wiccan. So a lot of times we revere spirits, in positive lights. While you can definitely have hostile spirits and energy, um, I don't feel that there's something to be afraid of. I feel there's something to be embraced and invited in. Um, and you hope for the best, like with people. You hope that the spirit or the energy is a positive being, a benevolent being, instead of a malevolent one. So ghosts don't, and spirits and things of that nature don't frighten me as much as, say, an alien entity abducting you from the sky to see what makes you tick inside. Um, 'Cause I can see us doing that too. Like if we were the ones flying, because human beings on a whole are monsters. I think while there's a lot of us that are very good and very kind and very sweet, I think as a society and the overall groupthink of humanity is kind of monstrous if you think about it. Um, I think you can just look at what's transpired throughout the world in the last couple of years. It's kind of um, a stark example of how terrible we kind of are. And this is all over the world, so I'm not pinning any one country or anything like that. So I'm not making this super political. I just think that yeah, humanity is like if we ever became spacefaring, I'd be afraid of us being that alien invader that would capture something and rip it open just to see how it works. Um, so yeah, ghosts don't scare me as much as creatures, like alien entities. I'm weird, but okay. And one second. My parents went on vacation. They were just letting me know they arrived safely, so I'm just gonna let them know that I'm glad they arrived safely, and I hope they have fun. And stay safe. Because they went to Florida. I know you're down in Florida, Zombro, but I don't know. I just always tell them to stay safe down there, because I know you guys have like a big, or you at least had another big COVID outbreak. I don't know if you guys are calming down from that or not down there or not. Okay, here we go. We're done with that. Oh, no, no, don't worry. All the spookiness is all inside this girl. You don't have to worry about anyone else having. Um, although I do say, I do get actually, that's not true. So a lot of my love for horror and my love for all things spooky, I'll give you a little bit, this will be some out of character context on me, came from growing up. So I was allowed to watch things that I should never have been allowed to watch while I was growing up. Um, I was shown Poltergeist when I was like 3. I saw Child's Play growing up. I saw Silver Bullet. If there was a horror movie on, we watched it. Now, was I unaffected by this stuff? Oh no. I was terrified by all of it. But I came to grow to love it. And now I think it's amazing. Um, One of the things I was terrified of when I was little, and you'll probably laugh at me when I tell you this, was the opening sequence of Michael Jackson's Thriller. The werewolf sequence. That shit terrified me. My mother knew it scared me, so what she would do is whenever, like, you know, she would start pretending like she was transforming and make noises like she was transforming, hold her hands over her face, and, like, you know, start shaking a little bit and tensing up like she was starting to transform. And little me used to scream terrified about that. Um, so I guess my mother is responsible for my love of horror, because she exposed it to me at such a young age. Now, she did explain to me a lot of times after we watched something that this wasn't real, it's a work of fiction, blah, blah, blah. So she did take the responsible route to explain things to me. So it wasn't like she showed these things to me and let me be terrified. That doesn't mean that little Esme's imagination didn't run wild, because of course it did. Um, but yeah, so I did get my love of horror from being exposed to it at a young age. And I think that's also why when I hear people going, well, I would never let my children watch this, blah, 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 I always get a little bit confused by that, because people make it sound like it's such a bad thing. And it can be. I suppose it can be to an extent. Some people are affected by it in like a worse manner. But I think because I was exposed to it at such a young age and it built my love for it, that I'm always a little bit perplexed. It's like, well, maybe, you know, let them have that choice, but explain it to them. If they can't handle it, then you know, be like, no, you can't watch this now. But who am I? Who am I? I am just some woman on the internet that loves horror things and likes to present scary stuff to viewers as a mirror entity. Oh, okay. So to this day, me and my mom still jump scare prank each other whenever we see each other. We still go for them. We go for them all the time. My girlfriend is also a big fan of the jump scares. Um, I scare very well. You know how some people you scare them and they swing at you or they get very angry. I don't. I laugh. I think it's funny. Like I jump scare, I get scared for a minute, and then I start laughing. Um, so I actually don't mind being jump scared. I actually think it's funny when you can get me and you can get me good. I respect that because holy crap, you did a good job. Um, but my mom's the same way. So she laughs a lot of the time. Once in a while, I get her at the wrong time and she gets mad. But usually she laughs about it. And we usually do contests of who can get each other worse whenever we do see each other and we do those. Um, so and it was like that growing up too. So yeah, so we did a lot of the jump scares too. And like to this day, I jump scare very well. I will laugh about being jump scared. I think it's fantastically funny. I won't get mad if you jump scare me. That's one of the I do have sound effects on these, but they have bits on them. I'm eventually going to get free ones. They'll be point redeems. Um, so I'll eventually get some point redeem sound scares. And if you can scare me, I won't ever be mad. I will laugh my ass off. And trust me, you will scare me. You will make me jump. You will make me jump like out of my seat, but I will laugh. So we'll get those into the channel eventually, just so you all can have a chance to try to scare me. Especially when we're playing some horror games, because we will be playing some scary horror games. Um, there's nothing wrong with hating jump scares. I totally get that. So, aw, your mom got you that bad? Did you cry like that, Sombro? I'm sorry. I'd offer you a hug if I could. But no, I understand hating jump scares still, Ramon. Um, it's totally understandable. They are totally cheap scares. Though sometimes a good jump scare can be very effective to the overall movie's plot. Some movies are too reliant on them and use them like they were giving out free candy. I think a well timed jump scare and a well placed atmosphere can really help a plot out, but when it's something that you keep going back to the well over and over and over again, it does cheapen it. So, like I said, I do love jump scares. I do think that jump scares can be cheapened by being done too much, especially in movies and fiction. But I do think that a well timed jump scare can actually help. There are some that are lazy. I will say that there are some movies that will build up so much tension in the atmosphere. Don't over rely on the jump scares. And when they get those one or two really good jump scares out of you throughout the entire movie, it was worth it. It was something that was built up and earned. Some movies will just use the cheap. Let me just throw something on camera real fast and take it away, over and over and over again throughout the entire movie, and that cheapens the jump scare. And I do feel that those ones are lazy. But the ones that build up the tension and the atmosphere and everything like that in the movie itself or the whatever, I feel those ones are earned and usually really add to the story. I feel it's just when you oversimplify it and make it cheap. A big um, what's what I want to use? Not perpetrator, but I guess perpetrator. Um, of the cheap jump scares would be the Paranormal Activity series. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy it, the movies, but they do go for the cheap jump scares quite often. So that's like their forte. And a lot of found footage does do that. Now, some found footage does very good jump scares because they build atmosphere. Um, but yeah, I totally see what you're saying, and I get that, and I agree with you. When jump scares are used over and over again with no building of atmosphere, it is lazy. It is definitely lazy, and I agree. And I think that's more so a common thing found in Western horror, especially recent Western horror, because they are going for those cheap jump scares in the theater to get those theater goers jump scare. Now, sometimes you do get a director who's very good at building up the atmosphere to get those jump scares, and then they're more earned. So it's just depending on the director, how they built them up, and stuff like that. All right. That being said, let's read a story. This one's a little bit longer than I wanted to take, but I think this one. No, this is too long. This one's a long. This one's probably like. Trying to find a short story. Something short and something that was rated well. Okay. I got stuck up in that conversation and I got absorbed into it. So I got hand talking. And when I start hand talking, I don't pay attention to anything else. Not as bad. Let's look for one more. Okay. Huh. Like, people are really just writing long stories lately. The early creepypastas were short, so you could just, like, read through them quickly. These are all long. Let me see this one. This is a letter. This is super long, too. Holy shit, this is longer than the other ones. Damn. People, what are you doing? Give me something short. I want to read this in, like, 10-15... I want to read, like, 10-15 minutes. Give me a 10-minute read story. What are you doing? Okay, people are just fucking writing books now. Holy shit. Go to some of the famous ones. A lot of those are shorter. Okay. No, this one's super duper long too. Damn it. Um. Should have picked one up before we started. Sorry about that. I got so involved in getting the Here we go. This is a short one. This won't take long at all. We're gonna read Eyeless Jack. I don't know if any of you had read Eyeless Jack before. It's an older creepypasta. This was originally posted up on the creepypasta website back in 2012. Um, so we'll read the story itself, and then I will read you the appearance and origins of the story. Eyeless Jack. Hello, my name is Mitch. I'm here to tell you guys about an experience I had. I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever, stupid words people use to describe supernatural phenomena, but after that thing visited me, I believe in the paranormal trash now. A week after I moved in with my brother Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in since we had not seen each other for 10 years, so I was excited too. I soon fell asleep after I moved in. After that first week, I heard rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was a raccoon, so I ignored it and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening and a loud thump as if something entered my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. And the next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee cup and when he saw me. He held up a nearby mirror and I saw myself. I had a large gash in my left cheek. After I was rushing to the hospital, the doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking. But then he showed me something that made my blood turn cold. He lifted up my shirt to reveal a sewn up incision where my kidneys were. I stared into his eyes, mine widening. You somehow lost your left kidney last night, the doctor told me. We don't know how, though. Sorry, Mitch. The next night was my breaking point. Around midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and a dark blue mask, with no nose or mouth, staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had eyes, just empty. It had no eyes, just empty black sockets. The creature also had some black substance dripping from its sockets. I grabbed a camera from the nearby mantel and took a picture. Immediately after taking the shot, the creature lunged at me and tried to claw open my chest to get to my lungs. I stopped by kicking it in its face. As I ran out of my room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods near Edwin's house and tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor, the same one who treated me before, entered the room. I have good news and bad news, Mitch. My doctor started. The good news is that you had minor injuries, and your parents are going to pick you up. I sighed with relief. The bad news is that your brother has been killed by something. Sorry. My parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did upon entering my room. I was scared but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and then stopped dead in my tracks in the hallway leading to my room. I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I retrieved it up and entered my parents' car. Not mentioning Edwin's corpse, I looked at the thing I had picked up and nearly vomited. I was holding my stolen half-eaten kidney with some black substance on it. And that's the story. Appearance and origins. In most depictions, Eyeless Jack wears a blue mask and hoodie. There are two cavernous black holes where the eye should be, whilst the rest of the facial features are either missing entirely or only suggested in shape. The image most commonly associated with the character is a photograph taken from below, as if looking up at the blank-faced figure with only two gaping holes where his eyes should be. The photograph, which predates production of any actual story of Eyeless Jack, was created on November 19th in 2009 by two DeviantArt users, Nick TZ408 and Pirate Cashew. The image was posted by a user calling himself Airnon on the 4chan. Amongst the collection of creepy images and cruisatures taken from video, I guess I meant to say creatures, taken from video games that he claimed to have found on 4chan/v/dot. The collection was labeled as Nightmare Fuel and significantly featured the DeviantArt image as the yet nameless character. The image was posted on June 7th, 2010. It would not be attached to the story until February 2012. Like many creepypasta characters, there was an ekphrastic element to Eyeless Jack's creation, meaning that the actual story of Eyeless Jack came after or was inspired by the image. That the story was eventually posted to Creepypasta by the user named Azel5000 on February 25th, 2012, and was presented as a first-person account of an encounter with Eyeless Jack, detailing how he had stolen at least partially eaten human organs. The story gained in popularity, helped by reading on YouTube by Mr. Creepypasta in March of 2012. Interesting, the original creepypasta was removed by its creator in the wake of the original Jeff the Killer story being removed, with its author expressing a desire to remove it himself before the admins of the site could. So that is the story of Eyeless Jack. Let me see if I can find a picture of the image that inspired all this, and we'll share that with you all. Let's see if it's still, there we go. And this was the original Eyeless Jack photo. So this is the image that inspired the story and started the whole Eyeless Jack trend. It's a pretty spooky image, I must say. But that is pretty much what that's where the Eyeless Jack story came from. Interesting. I do like how a lot of the creepypasta stuff can come from an image first, and then someone builds a story around that image. Which was pretty cool. I think Eyeless Jack was rated a little bit high for what it was. I have some issues with the Eyeless Jack story. One of my biggest issues being that he went to the house to get his stuff, and his brother's corpse was still laying in the house. I know that's probably kind of me picking at it, if you will. But I feel that if his brother had already been killed, the police found the body, and that enough that the doctor knew, the body would have been removed from the scene, and he wouldn't have found that half-eaten kidney that would have been taken as well. So that's my biggest problem with the Eyeless Jack story. I feel that it fell apart at the end. The rest of it was pretty good. I think the rest of it was decent enough and was a good story overall. But I just like I say, it fell apart at the end. Right. Like, up until the point where he went back to get his stuff, I think a better ending for this would have been he looked at the camera, because it was a digital camera, and he saw the image. And there was something off about the image. I think that would have been a better ending to it than him seeing his brother's body and not telling his parents that he saw his brother's body in there. Because his brother is clearly dead. They know he's dead. The hospital knew he was dead. The police would have had the body removed. So that was my biggest problem. It was solid until the ending. I feel the ending part is really kind of what ruined it. Um, wasn't bad overall. I think this story was probably written by someone who was either freshly out of high school or still in high school, because they didn't think the ending through. Everything else was, like I said, everything else was decent enough, but they definitely fell apart at the end. Good concept, cool, a nice story to go with that image. So overall, not terrible. I don't hate it, but like I said, it did fall apart at the end there, I feel. All right. So that said, I think this is a good time to close the stream out. We are running on 3 hours, and it's now 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I just want to thank everyone so much for coming. Right, who would leave a perfectly good kidney lying around, even if it was only half eaten? But yeah, so I thank everyone so much for coming out tonight. I really had a lot of fun doing this tier list. I hope you all did too. I wouldn't mind doing more of these in the future. I would definitely like to do that. So we might do some more of these. One of the things I want to announce that I want to do is I do want to do something fun for whenever we reach a big milestone, like 500 followers. If that even ever happens, who knows? It could blow up tomorrow. It could take years for me to get there. I don't know. Who knows? Should I get 500 followers, and I'll put this on Twitter as well, I'm going to do a karaoke cover of a song. I haven't decided which song yet. I know Cabal did just today for his 2,500 did a cover of Into the Night or something like that from Anastasia, which was really, really cool. It was great, and it kind of inspired me a little bit. So I will probably do a song myself. I just don't know what song yet, and I will think about that. I want to do something just a little bit out there. Probably something from, maybe something from Forbidden Zone. If you've never seen Forbidden Zone, it's a late 70s, early 80s movie starring Boingo Boingo. The frontman of Oingo Boingo was Danny Elfman, who was famous for doing most of the music in the Tim Burton movies, including Nightmare Before Christmas. So I may do a song from either Forbidden Zone or even that or Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think either one of those would be really fun. Since Tab seems to be doing stuff from animated features, I think doing one of those would be a slightly different direction while still doing that, because if you've been to my streams before, I didn't sing much tonight, but if you've been to my streams before, you know that I do sing, and I rap sometimes. That's right, Oingo Boingo is not just a JoJo character. So fun fact, a lot of JoJo characters are named after musical groups. So if you see a name in a JoJo, and then you find out that there's like a band or something related, the creator of JoJo was probably inspired by that band. As for if I have written my own creepypastas, I have. They're okay. I am going to write some new ones though, and when I do, we are going to read them on air. I have written and read on stream some of my Final Fantasy XIV original stories, which were horror stories based on my original characters, which people seem to like a lot. So I may end up doing more of that. Yeah, you can read them. I can send you some links. Do you follow me on Twitter? Follow me on Twitter. I can send them to you there. Or I can here, hold on. Let me just get the links real quick. Bear with me for a second, please. You do follow me on Twitter? Okay. I can still send them to you here. I can just put a link up so anyone who's watching this can follow the link to it real quick. I'll link you the one that I read on stream. The other ones I need to go through and do some editing. I think I do a little bit of editing on this one still, but it's not bad. Overall, it's still pretty good. Hold on, just bear with me for a second. Okay, let's switch over to the account that it's on. We'll do this one. Yeah, I think I hid the name on here, so it's okay if I post this one. I think I just had my initials on there. Okay. Go to the share link once this is done loading. Share. believe. Come on, load up for me, please. It's taking a moment. Chrome is a memory hog. Okay, copy link. Let's go back into here. Here you go. This one's entitled The Bath. You should be able to just follow the link there. But I wrote that. That's about my character. There is a point where I changed the name on the character at one point. There is a point where her old name pops up because I missed that. But you can just substitute that with the correct name when you get to that point. You'll figure it out. But yeah. So I will, like I said, I will eventually do some more writing, some more personal creepypastas. I will also do. So when we get to 500 followers, yeah, I'm going to do a Rocky Horror Picture Show song. So I haven't decided what song yet. But I'm going to sing a song from Rocky Horror Picture Show whenever we get to 500 followers. So I haven't decided that much. On Twitch. So we will do that. Actually, I might do 300. We'll do 300 because 500 is a good way off. We're only at 165 or something like that right now. So when we get to 300, we'll do a song from Rocky Horror Picture Show on the stream. It'll be fun. Yeah. That said, I just want to thank everyone so much for coming out tonight. I had a lot of fun. I hope you all did too. And we'll be back on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. EST. I like to do that stream so that people who live in other time zones are able to catch my stream without staying up too late. But yeah, if you haven't already, we do have a Discord. Please feel free to join that. I will show movies in there throughout the week. So if you ever just want to hang out and watch a movie, come on in. Whenever I do, I always ping the Discord with that here because I don't want to do at everyone. I'm eventually going to do a movie watching role in there. But yeah, feel free to join the Discord. We'll watch some movies. We can hang out when I'm not streaming. It'll be a lot of fun. But I hope everyone had a wonderful night. Thank you so much for coming out. And let's see who we can send you off to tonight. Let me see who's on from my friend list first. And if no one from my friend list is on, I'll get some suggestions. Let's take a look. Thank you for showing up, Renan, and I hope to see you again. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Yes, Sunday we're going to be doing some games. We're going to be playing some video games. So Sunday we're probably going to be playing some Identity 5, and maybe some West of Dead. I haven't decided on that one. Definitely Identity 5. Let's see who's on. Who's on? Ooh. Okay. Ooh, Demon Queen Vivi's on. She is super duper awesome, and her artwork is amazing, and her art streams are super comfy and kind of creepy. So we're going to send everyone over to Demon Queen Vivi. Make sure to spam the Esme emote if you have access to it. If not, just make sure to let Vivi know that you're saying hello from the Mirror Shade. Alright, thanks so much everyone. I will see you next time. Remember, I'm watching you always. Good night. And say hi to Vivi for me. Bye. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, now.